This album is absolutely spectacular. It's lean, but it's also in depth. It's feral, but it's also peaceful. It's incredibly profound as well. Knocked Loose are on the tip of everyone's tongues, and for good reason, because they are poised to release their brand new third album, which is the truly terrifying You Won't Go Before You're Supposed to. I dream of a cleansing wave, set me free. So if you may not be familiar with Knocked Loose, they are a band from Louisville, Kentucky, and they have a hell of a lot of accolades. They've been able to play Coachella, Bonnaroo, they've had sold out headline tours pretty much across the globe, and they've just been announced as direct support for Slipknot in the US, which I think is, speaks volumes for sure. However, despite these accolades, the band have not sacrificed one iota any form of their heaviness. So I have to kind of clear the air because, for a number of years, I really wasn't that bothered about Knocked Loose. And it wasn't until Upon Loss and my wife Laura kind of like belligerently being like, no, they're really, really good. And I finally caved. My problem for a long time was that I thought that, Knocked Loose were kind of like breakdown band and that just wasn't something that appealed to me. But I can absolutely say that has completely changed with this record. Following on from their previous LP, Knocked Loose basically delve back into the real dark recesses of our minds to create something that is incredibly visceral but also very relatable at the same time. Words are cherry-picked, like haunted, abyss, midnight, and moss, to create that sense of an eerie stillness but with a sense of decay in there as well. And they are such a great combination of the liminal, the powerful, and really truly desperate. And I also think there's a huge amount of helplessness and total desperation in Brian Garris's delivery. And I have to say, this guy has given everything to this record. I know he's quite intense as a record, as a singer anyway, but this is just another level. And echoing that idea of the imagery, there are these kind of eerie sounds that punctuate the record. And, they range from sounds of water dripping or like knives being sort of like clinked together. But it's the ending of Suffocate, the calm that keeps you awake, and the beginning of Sit and Mourn, which are all kind of tied together by this thread of this sort of ominous, eerie feedback and these sounds of like birds chirping. And for me, birds chirping often kind of symbolizes a new dawn, peace, kind of like a new beginning, which is often then shattered by whatever it is, metallic riff that comes in and just absolutely smacks you over the head. It wasn't until a few times listening to Thirst that I realized actually this melody starts on that track and kind of makes up the backbone of this atmosphere and is almost kind of like a thread in the labyrinth of this record. Despite all these weird emotive soundscapes though, I have no doubt that this is going to be one of the heaviest records of this year. The album opener, Thirst, gives you round about 24 seconds head start before it screams and catches up to you straight away. Riffs really swing like, pendulums on piece by piece, and then you've got, again, I'm going to name drop Meshuggah because they are literally, for me, like the epitome of that sort of heaviness. Dynamics are being explored, to kind of push songs into new directions. There's guitar lines which are kind of layered and, kind of, especially when you come back after multiple listens, really reveal something completely new each time. And in all honesty, I think it's the band's willingness to experiment that's really won me over here. There's moments of like black metal, death metal on here, even prog. It's quite tenuous. Not only though is this record the most vicious, but it's also, I think, one of the catchiest records I've heard this year. Slaughterhouse 2 is unbelievably catchy. I was so surprised at how good of a chorus this song has, and then The Calm That Keeps You Awake also has really memorable melodies. Then you've got that amazing duet that they have with Poppy on Suffocate. And then you've got the very poignant ending of the album, which is Sit and Mourn. Suffocate! And the production makes everything sound enormous. Drew Falk has absolutely smashed it out of the park. The bass sounds like lead piping, and that snare drum sound just ratchets up the tension and really flings you head first into those amazing moments. You won't go before you're supposed to is that eerie figure that you can see in the corner of your eye before it teleports somehow and is right screaming in your face. This album is absolutely spectacular. It's lean, but it's also in depth. It's feral, but it's also peaceful. It's incredibly profound as well. It's an intelligent, expertly thought out and brilliantly written piece of work that looks at the human condition, the idea of death and being alive and what that means. And for me, really, I think made me feel something, which that is the X factor that I'm looking for an album of the year, something that really kind of takes me by surprise. And Knocked Loose did all that and more in 27 minutes. And so for that reason, I'm going to give this album a 10. Yeah, for real. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So thank you ever so much for watching this album review. Let me know what you think in the comments underneath me and also the album. It's out on May 10th and absolutely 100% worth your time. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps, and share it with any of your friends. Other than that, I will see you guys very, very soon for more album reviews. Take care, my friends.